Hour number 3 is just beginning of the Jordan Rich Show. No, hour number 2. Pay attention, Morgan. It's 6 minutes after 2 here in
Can
the
you
East
tell
Coast.
time, Morgan?
Not without Mickey Mouse. And that voice you hear is my buddy Scott Schwartz. He's been here for the past hour. He's going to stay for one more hour. We're going to talk about what he's got currently going on, more talk about wrestling, the strike, stunt work. He's a renaissance man. Do a little of everything. And you're getting phone calls. Let's go to Kathleen in Watertown. Good morning, Kathleen. Welcome to BZ.
Hi. Actually, I'm from Charlestown. That's okay. I heard a reference to Killer Kowalski, who my dad was a great fan of, and just looking to get some history on the guy.
What kind of history are you looking for?
Well, what was his average? I mean, how many wins, losses, age?
Many, many more wins and losses.
Yeah, he was a legend. He had more championship belts. He was a tag team champion in the WWF.
Executioner 1, 2, or 3, depending.
Exactly, and he had several championships all over the world, and the Grand Prix championship up in Montreal, and great champion. And anybody that knows anything about wrestling that's worth their weight in salt will tell you that he was a legend. And to watch him in the ring wear down at 6'7", 262 pounds, to wear down smaller and appearingly better conditioned athletes, wear them down and beat them handily. Kowalski was, and I still look up to him, and a great man, and you can't expect me to say anything bad about him ever.
Kathleen, one thing a lot of people don't realize, the product that you see, maybe it's not all the power being thrown in that punch. Maybe it's not all the kicking, meaning to do the damage that a kick could do. But I'll say this, to wrestle for 15, 30, 45, 60 minutes takes stamina. And very few wrestlers could do more than... Pick a match. Watch Monday Night Raw.
Right.
Any match you see, if it lasts more than 7 minutes, that's
7 minutes is a long time today.
And that's what you see, quote unquote, nowadays. Back in the day,
Kowalski would go. Walter would go 20 minutes, and that would be the beginning of the match. After 20 minutes, he had more 45-plus minute matches than any wrestler alive. He just could go and go, and a lot of times he wore his opponent down by going.
And you don't see that anymore. And even in the major SummerSlam, WrestleMania, the major matches where you would think it's going to be entertaining to see Hulk Hogan fight Roddy Piper back in one of the first WrestleManias. You're not even going to see longer matches in their featured house shows.
Well, I remember Nick Bockwinkel, who was a great champion himself, in great condition. He went hour-long matches with Vern Gagne. He told me a story, I think last year, or maybe 18 months ago. We were having a luncheon in Las Vegas. That's where he lives now. And he said that he came to L.A. and he was supposed to wrestle Kowalski. And he saw Kowalski walking around, and he said, well, this is a piece of cake. That guy's big, and that guy's lumbering around, and I'm going to take him out. And he said that night he learned a very valuable lesson, because the next day he ran to the gym to work out more and more, because Walter made him look like, his tongue was hanging out.
Walter was famous for stamina.
Well, thank you very much. And, I'm sure he's not with us anymore, but when was his last fight?
He's still with us.
He is.
Yes, God bless Walter Kowalski. He's still with us. He's still around. I've seen him every day on my trip here. I bought him a thin crust vegetarian pizza today. He's been a vegetarian for 60 years.
I would love to email him if he has an address.
He does not have an email address, but I'll tell you where you can send a snail mail letter to P.O. Box. I announced it earlier. P.O. Box 67, and that's in Reading, Mass.
My God. So close.
You've probably seen him walking around town. He's always around. He eats at Am I allowed to plug restaurants?
Go right ahead.
I think he eats at Natalie's and Gaetano's up there, and you probably places you've eaten.
Oh my God! Yeah, my dad was such a big fan. He had his posters all over his workshop in the basement. And I was only like 4 years old, but just some memories that bring it back. And it's like, it's great.
Kathleen,
it's great.
do you
And there
have
was one other fight. I don't know if it was wrestling, boxing. Forgive me. Jack Wepner, whatever his name was there.
Hey, send me some of your old wrestling posters. I have an eBay account. No, I'm just kidding.
I think you mean Chuck Wepner, who was a boxer, not a wrestler.
That would have been Andre the Giant that wrestled Chuck Wepner in the boxer versus
Yes.
wrestler match.
With the old trip thing there.
Oh, I know. No, you know what she's talking about? Muhammad Ali was fighting Chuck Wepner.
That's it.
And Muhammad Ali was throwing a punch, and you know how he would duck back as he threw a punch? Chuck Wepner stepped on his foot, not purposely, and that threw Ali off balance, and Ali went down. And it looked like Chuck Wepner, a nobody, knocked him down. Now, Kathleen, do you want to know who you have in your film history because of Chuck Wepner?
Mm-hmm.
Sylvester Stallone. He was in the auditorium that night of that match between Ali and Chuck Wepner. And Chuck Wepner only wanted to go the distance. He knew he couldn't beat Muhammad Ali. He said, I just want to go the distance. And I think in those days they were still doing 15 rounds.
That's like Randall Tex Cobb. The guy could take a beating. They said if his match is going to go in 30 rounds, he would have won every one because everyone was out of breath from hitting him so much that he was, but they couldn't knock him down.
So that night, seeing that match, Stallone went back to his hotel, because I think the match was in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken, and wrote the screenplay Rocky.
Wow.
Wow.
And now you know the rest
good.
of the story.
Good. No,